So today we're taking a look at another debate clip where Anton thinks he makes a good point. Libertarians are drama queens about taxation. So right off the bat, I think it's a bit rich coming from Anton saying that we're the drama queens, when this guy has straight up doomsday scenario positions about what would happen if libertarianism was implemented. And by the way, that's not a straw man or a hyperbole. You can literally go look at this guy's videos. He's literally argued stuff like people would just build unsafe buildings or drink dirty water if bureaucrats weren't there to babysit all of us. Saying that civilization as we know it would cease to exist if people were free to live their own lives and make their own decisions seems like way more of a drama queen position. But anyways, let's see what Anton has to say.
Where they'll say things like, if I don't pay my taxes, men with guns are going to come and, kick my door down and drag me away to prison.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you don't pay your taxes. Men with guns show up to your house to kidnap you into a cage. Do you think people hand over a good chunk of the income they work hard to earn to blow up brown children on the other side of the world because they want to? Obviously not. People only pay the government because they have to, because they're forced to. Anton himself even argues that people wouldn't pay their government unless they were forced to. So trying to argue that taxation is anything other than one big threat of violence is intellectually dishonest.
And they just make it sound like there's so much violence associated with basic things like the IRS collecting income taxes.
Well, let's think about it for a minute. What exactly does happen when you refuse to pay your taxes? Well, the very first thing that happens is you get a letter from the government, which says in very watered-down and sugar-coated terms, pay up or else. If you ignore those letters, then eventually they will send men with guns to your house to kidnap you into a cage. If you fight back or resist being kidnapped, then they shoot you. So yes, the process does eventually end up with you being shot, whether Anton wants to admit it or not.
It just doesn't strike me to at all reflect the actual reality of the situation.
Again, do you think people work hard all day and hand over a portion of what they earn to spend on wasteful boondoggles because they want to?
Because what really happens is your tax bill is due, you pay it. If you don't, there's like extensions and fines you have to pay and so forth.
So what happens if you don't pay those fines, though? Do you think the government's eventually just going to give up? Anton seems to be trying to argue that taxation isn't based on violence just because the violence isn't the first immediate resort.
But men with guns, storming, like landing in a helicopter in your backyard and like kicking down your door and like beating you up with batons and dragging you away for the simple act of not paying taxes just doesn't at all match up with the reality of the situation.
So this is either intellectual dishonesty or straight up reality denial. Everyone knows the government forcibly kidnaps you into a cage if you don't pay them tribute. As a matter of fact, Anton himself even argues that taxation should not be voluntary. So he of all people should know that taxation is based on a threat of violence, and trying to obfuscate that is just intellectually dishonest. Anton has more of these debate clips I plan on tackling, so if that's something you're interested in seeing, stick around. Until next time, this has been Philosophossum making stupidity play dead. Everyone take care.